After more than a year in captivity,
Andrea, we are closer than we've ever been.
freedom could finally become a reality for the remaining hostages held in Gaza. Negotiators now say they're on the cusp of a viable deal, just days before a pivotal transition of power in the United States, unless Hamas reneges on the tentative agreement. Glimmers of hope that also parallel another hostage crisis more than 4 decades ago. In November of 1979, militant students stormed the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, angered over U.S. support for the country's ousted leader, the Shah. Dozens of hostages taken, kicking off a crisis that would go on to destroy U.S.-Iranian relations, challenge an American presidency, and leave families in constant fear their loved ones would never make it out alive.
My prayers are still with them.
The hostage crisis transfixed the world, watching it play out night after night on national television.
The hostages suspected by the Iranians of spying may be held elsewhere.
Some of the hostages, women, children, and minorities, freed quickly by Iran's new leader, the Ayatollah, who took control of the hostage situation. Other Americans, including diplomats, rescued in a daring CIA-led operation, dramatized in the 2012 Best Picture winner, Argo.
White House wants the 6 of them out.
But 52 hostages remained in the hands of their captors, awaiting a deal from the highest levels of the American government, a deal that proved elusive for President Jimmy Carter, who had approved cancer treatment in the U.S. for the Shah, enraging so many Iranians. The crisis becoming one of the defining issues of Carter's presidency.
That we will persist in our efforts through every means available until every single American has been freed.
With Carter taking steps, including a disastrous rescue operation that killed 8 U.S. service members to try and free the hostages.
I want to express the admiration I feel for the courage of their loved ones.
With inflation and gas prices sky high and Americans still being held in Iran, President Carter stood little chance of winning a second term, losing in a landslide to former California Governor Ronald Reagan in 1980.
We have projected Ronald Reagan the winner.
While the crisis helped to sink Carter's political fortunes, it became one of his successor's crowning achievements.
I, Ronald Reagan, do solemnly swear.
On Inauguration Day, the U.S. government released nearly $8 billion in frozen Iranian assets, allowing Ronald Reagan, just minutes into his presidency and 444 days into the hostage situation, to secure the release of the 52 Americans in captivity.
You are home, and believe me, you are welcome.
Now just days away from another inauguration, we await news of a new hostage deal in Gaza, a commitment to surge aid into the destroyed Gaza Strip, and an end to hostility that continues to plague the Middle East and much of the world. For President Biden, it would be one last hallmark achievement before he leaves office.
We're working urgently to close this deal.
For President-elect Trump, a deal would kick off a second term, doing something his predecessor couldn't.
If they're not back by the time I get into office, all hell will break out.
With lives and legacies on the line, the coming days could be critical for 2 American presidents, and most importantly, for the hostages and their families. There are a couple of important differences between these events. This time, the Trump and Biden teams have been working together to free the hostages. Last time, the Reagan team worked secretly to delay the hostages' release until Jimmy Carter was out of office. And tragically, this time, not all the hostages have survived. Hallie.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.